Hello, I have with me Liette Grimwood and Brian Elton, who've been involved in a fascinating project to record the 100-year history of what was Langer Primary School, now Langer Primary Academy. And they pulled it together in this fascinating book, which is shortly going to be published. Tell me, Liette, you were involved as a governor, I believe, of the school, is that correct?
I was formerly a governor of the school and also a member of FALSA.
FALSA
is Friends of Langer School Association, where we raise money for the school to enhance the children's experiences so they can go on trips and things. So we decided to put a book together.
And how long has this project been in the works, as it were?
Really, about a year and a half ago, the idea, was raised by other members of FALSA, and I said that I would, get involved.
Love to be involved.
Yeah,
on top of everything else you've done for the school.
A little bit of a challenge.
Yeah. Brian, you were headmaster of the school until 1993, and you've continued to be involved in it since then.
Well, I've been following the school's progress with interest and supported their various events, sales and fates, etc.
Right. So, in terms of pulling together the material for this book, where have you got the pictures from, the stories and the press cuttings that appear in it? What's been the source of this material?
Well, a lot of the stuff has been archived at the school. Brian kept a really good record of events, as did lots of other of the headmasters that were at the school before. And there were also school logs, which were kept daily from what year?
Well, I think they went back to the beginning of the Second World War.
So these logs contain what sort of information?
It is an official logbook which a head is required to keep. There was a time when...
Was it like a record of events?
Yes, a record of...
So it's not like a register where you tick off the tendencies?
No, I mean, it's a record of unusual events, if you like, and not just day-to-day running of the school, but I mean, if somebody came to look at a problem with the building, say the architect, I mean, it would be noted.
Right.
And if somebody had a serious accident, it would probably be logged.
Talking of which, we've just had this big tidal surge in Felixstowe. Was the school badly affected by the 1953 flood?
Yes, it was, yes. And there was a problem there in 1953, but there is quite a substantial article on the flood inside the book.
Right, so...
there's a memorial in the corner of the school playing field, actually, facing onto Langer Road.
Yeah. So lots of contributions from previous pupils in here, what people sending in handwritten notes, emails, whatever, and you've had to pull all of that together and turn it into text, and you've had some help and support doing all of that.
We've had all the children currently at the school have major contribution and put their feelings and thoughts of how they feel about the school, and lots of people have emailed and sent letters, telephoned, and too many really for us to put in the book, but we've picked out some of them that we thought were quite nice stories. And
did you get any contributions from people complaining about the school at all? Or
no, we didn't.
I bet you didn't.
We had lots of really funny stories.
Yeah, because I get the impression
we could have made a joke book really, as well, but it's history based.
I mean, I've only had a few minutes to glance through it before you came in, and I'm absolutely fascinated to see what very glowing comments from the pupils about the school. I mean, Brian, what's your best recollection of when you were headmaster there?
Well, I think probably it took... I started there in January 76, but it took until 1991 before we actually had a purpose-built school hall, and that was really great. Prior to that, we did have help from the Education Authority, who converted 2 adjacent classrooms into a hall. Mm-hmm. But this meant that we needed to have another prefabricated building for a classroom. At one point, we had 4 prefab classrooms on the edge of the playing field.
Fairly typical of primary schools during that era, though.
I'm afraid so.
Yeah.
And when we got the fourth prefab, it had in fact come from another school, and it went on to yet another one after that.
Yes.
But they were all those prefab classrooms were supposed to have a life expectancy of 10 years. I think you'll find that we had them for 16, 17.
So it's all under one roof now. It's
Oh, yes,
it's no longer an
absolutely.
eyesore. It's a great looking building, isn't it? You know,
Yeah,
you
it
go
is
past
very,
it, looks
very
like it's very well
attractive
looked
building,
after.
Yes, and it's interesting that the original building, 1912, was built on a concrete raft because of the sandy nature of the soil.
And that's helped to preserve its condition.
Oh yes,
Yeah, yeah.
When the hall was built in '91, the surveyor came round and he had to organise pile driving, and in some places the piles were 70 feet deep.
70.
70.
70.
70
feet deep.
yeah.
That's
7
extraordinary.
3-metre
That's
piles.
incredible.
Yeah, and 3 metres is 10 feet, isn't it?
But anyway, yeah. So that's a great building. Been, some of the pupils there, clearly, really enjoyed their time there. The majority of them.
Very
I think
happy
it's good.
atmosphere at the school.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I noticed it on the day I was interviewed for the headship, and my successor David Leaney, he had the same experience. He said, "What a nice atmosphere and a happy atmosphere."
Well, I'm sure it's going to make fascinating reading for ex-pupils and parents today. This book. How are you distributing it, Leanne? What's the?
It's
where will
it's
the
going to
book
be
be available?
It's going to be available at the East Anglian Daily Times office in Felixstowe.
In Hamilton
and-
Road?
Yes, and also at the school. Brian and I can always be caught hold of walking around town, and lots of people know us. So we will have copies.
And
at
cover
any
prices?
time. The price is $5.95.
Well, that sounds incredible. doesn't
And
it?
we try to keep the price as low as possible because we thought there'll be so many people that have been part of the school, so we wanted to keep it down as much as possible.
So clearly it's been a very much a collaborative effort involving a lot of people supplying material. I mean, is there any people in particular you'd like to mention or thank for this?
Well, we'd like to
sponsorship?
thank obviously the people that have sponsored us. There were the Lions Club, the Greenswood Trust, and also Langer Park Service Station have been our main sponsors for the book. And Graham Newman, who has helped put the text to the printers for us, because a lot of it was on paper.
Yeah, Graham's a town councillor and a county councillor.
Right.
And it's also worth mentioning that Wayne Underwood, who runs the Langer Park Service Station, his grandfather was a pupil from day one,
Really?
1912. And when we opened the new hall in 1991, Tommy Underwood came to the service that we had, and we also had the youngest pupil. So we had Tommy, who was in his
Really?
about 90,
Really
and
well
a
done.
4.5-year-old.
Yeah. Any chances this could make a great Christmas gift, couldn't it? Any
I
chance
think
it'll be out
so.
before Christmas?
Yes, it
Oh,
will
yes.
be. It'll
Yeah.
be available from next week.
Okay.
There has been a little bit of a delay. We thought they were going to be all ready for the beginning of this week, but it's going to be next, so it will be available before Christmas.
Marvellous. Well, thank you both very much for coming in.